Hi, Gussie. Are you gonna keep me company for a while? Hi? 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 Alrighty. Hey, you guys. So I'm coming to you from my back garden here in my home in the province. I have actually been here since Friday, and at the point of this video it's a Thursday, so I've been here for the past 6 days. Now I've actually wanted to do some vlogging as soon as I got here, but I just was not in the mood and in the right headspace, and I think I have two main reasons why. So the first main reason is back in August I was working on a film and we were shooting nights, so my sleeping patterns was so off and I was just like, really physically tired, because when you're shooting on a film you're always like, standing up, you're running around, walking around, you're always on your feet, so it takes a toll on your body, especially if you've been like, shooting for 20 days, like, on and off, not straight, by the way. So that's it. And as soon as I got here, because the air is so fresh, the ambience is so relaxing, I have just like, really been sleeping, lazing around, and I think it was just like, my body telling me to like, hey, just relax and get back into the groove of things. So that's it. Now the other reason is more devastating, and if you follow me here on YouTube or on Instagram, you might have seen that my beagle Malena has actually passed away. So the sad part with that is I was actually 7 days too late to see her alive one last time. But I think this is just like, a selfish notion on my part. She was in her end stage of her life because her lymphoma was really getting to her, and like, keeping her alive just for my sake is not something that like, really sits well with me, especially I know that like, she was already like, really suffering from the pain of her lymphoma. The one thing that I'm grateful for with that entire situation is that my foster kids were actually here at that time, because they were free from school, and they are not teenagers, by the way, they're all in college, and they are young adults who could actually handle taking care of a being with that kind of a situation. And one of my foster kids actually is studying to be a vet, and I was so grateful that she was here, because she was actually able to take care of Malena during the end stage of her life, because there was a point that Malena had to be she had to be put on a dextrose, and she was given some steroids just to like really entice her to eat, because her lymph nodes were actually very big already. They were very inflamed that one of her nodes was actually like, pressing so much on her throat that it was just making it impossible for her to eat. And I do remember they were telling us that they were just feeding her like, baby food for the last 2 weeks of her life, and I found that so sad, because Malena was such a voracious eater. She was a very, very healthy eater. So I actually did have a conversation with my foster kid, and I told her that I think it was destiny for you to be here in our home in the province at the time that Malena was like, in that kind of a situation, because it taught my foster kid a lot about like, how it is to actually take care of a patient, and like, it just filled her with understanding and love, and I think it kind of like solidified her desire to become a vet. So I think that was the greatest gift that our dog Malena has given her. At this point I'm actually not devastated anymore. I am still sad. I still think of her a lot, but it wasn't, the feeling that I have right now is not of sadness, but I just think of the happy moments that Malena has given us here in our home. Although I could actually feel a difference in the energy between my other dogs here, because Malena was a very feisty dog. Like, she loved playing with her siblings here, and she would like actually taunt them, like, you know, she'll just do things so that they'll start chasing her, and like, you know, they'll just like, you know, restart running around in the garden, things like that. And for anyone who has a beagle, we know how, like, you know, dramatic they are, how vocal, and also very, very sweet. So I'm just like, you know, so grateful that we had Malena in our lives, and like, you know, she has brought so much joy, so much joy. And that's why I'm here right now, because she was actually buried here at the back. So we have a flower pot here that indicates where she is laid to rest. So her head is near the flower pot, and I think it's also a very nice place to lay her to rest, because we actually do have a small table here and some chairs, and my partner and I actually, like, you know, spend some time here. Like, we have breakfasts here, or we have, like, you know, afternoon coffee here or tea. So it's just so fitting. And I kind of like also that she's by the trees here. So we have a calamansi tree here, so it's a Philippine lemon tree, and then we have a papaya tree here. And I actually did plant a banana tree here a few years ago, but it actually didn't survive because this is not the right soil for a banana tree. So I think she enjoys being laid to rest here, because sometimes like, you know, when I look at her from our bedroom, because I have a from the balcony of my bedroom, like, you know, sometimes in the morning when I wake up, I can already see her walking around here. Like, you know, she chases the birds here, and sometimes they play around here at the back garden. So it's just a very fitting place for her to be at right now. Okay, Malena, little girl, I miss you. But anyway, so for our vlog, it's just going to be a very casual vlog. So it's an update, kind of a video of sorts, because it's been a while that, like, you know, I've hanged out with you guys. So you might be wondering what's been happening, especially to those of you who follow me intently, which I am so grateful for, by the way. Thank you so much. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you guys. I don't think that I would be able to create a, like, you know, makeup review kind of a video anytime soon, because my schedule is a little bit tight recently. I actually need to go back home to the city by Monday, so I only have 4 days left here, and I don't think I'll be able to, like, you know, create a standalone video for one of the makeup products that I wanted to talk about, like, you know, the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Finish Powder, because I might not have time to edit it thoroughly. And I also think that my time here, like, you know, my remaining time here in the house is gonna be a little bit hectic, because I'm, like, you know, about to close it again, because, like, you know, I'm about to leave. Although one thing is for sure, by the time I get back to my home in the city, I will actually be making a video for Sonia G's latest brush release. And I actually just got the alert that I had some delivery to my home in the city, and it was from Sonia G. So thank you so much, Sonia. If you're watching this, I am very, very grateful. And also to Beautylish for sending those babies my way. I'm so grateful, like, super. I was aware that she was releasing, like, you know, makeup brushes, but I was not able to delve into it because I was just, like, you know, very, very busy with work. So I also think it's such an apt time to be receiving it in PR, because, like, you know, if you follow me here on YouTube or even on Instagram, you would know that September is the season for the Brush Festival in Japan. And that's also one of the reasons why I am here with you guys. It's because I am actually leaving for the Brush Festival by September 19th. The festival is actually not going to be until the 23rd, so I'm going to be in Japan a little bit early with my partner, and we're actually, like, you know, going to be using this as our vacation time. So this trip was actually, like, you know, it wasn't in the books, because we had initially planned of, like, you know, heading to Europe for our anniversary trip this year, but because we are working on a future film, we couldn't really, like, you know, pin down our travel dates, because we just couldn't, like, really, like, you know, buy a ticket and, like, you know, book, like, you know, hotels, things like that, not unless we get the exact dates for our shoot. Because like, you know, we need to apply for our visa before we fly out, so we just can't really leave at the drop of a hat. So traveling to Europe, it takes a lot of effort and a lot of planning. So we have actually moved our trip to Europe next year, and it was because of this move that I said to him oh, if we are not going to Europe this year, is it possible for me to go to Japan for the brush festival? And he goes, yes, of course. And he said why don't we just make that our trip this year? And that's how it actually came to be. So I actually started planning for this in August, so it's actually very close to the travel date. And I'm just so glad that I was able to find some accommodations, things like that, because not only are we going to the brush festival this year, but I'm also going to be attending Cosme Week in Osaka. So it's a big makeup trade show that happens every year in Japan. So they also have one called Cosme Week Tokyo, which happens around February, I guess. I forgot the date. But for Osaka, it always happens at around this time of the year, and it's so close to the brush festival. I said to myself, I think I should also do that, so that at least I'm doing more than one thing in relation to my field while I am in Japan at this time. And also the other thing is that my partner and I are going to be doing Kumano Kodo. So it's a pilgrimage walk that has been around for 1,000 years, and I'm very excited for this because I have actually wanted to do this for my 40th, but I wasn't able to do it because it was COVID. And ever since I brought this topic up, back in 2020, my partner has also been very intrigued by this pilgrimage walk. And it was actually when I was expressing my desire to go to Japan for the brush festival, he said why don't we do the pilgrimage walk this year? Let's tie them together. And that really put me into a frenzy because again, as I've said, it's very close to the date, and it is actually a little bit difficult to find accommodations for us. I'm not gonna talk about it much in detail in this vlog. I'm gonna create a standalone vlog for that, so that if you're also interested to do that in the future, maybe you can go and check that out. So I'm actually very, very excited for this, super excited. And I'm not someone who actually goes on hikes, so this is a new experience for me. But my partner and I actually like doing long walks, and we will be walking for more than 70 kilometers, and it's gonna take around 5 days for us to finish. And I think it's a good idea, as lovers, or even partners or husband and wives. It's a great thing to share together. So if you're interested, please do subscribe down below, because I will be vlogging my experience with Kumano Kodo. Okay, so I'm gonna be very busy for the next few days. I have to start packing for our trip, and I also have to start planning and thinking about the things that we need to bring for our pilgrimage walks. I need to think about walking sticks. I need to think about hiking backpacks. I also need to think about how to ensure that we have a very light load while we're walking on the pilgrimage route. So there's so many things that my partner and I need to discuss, so that we will have a very nice, smooth pilgrimage walk in Kumano Kodo. So also one thing, by the way, my unit in the city, my condo unit, is currently undergoing renovations, and that's also why we're here, because our contractor has told us that it was already time for the walls to be taken down. And when we go back to the city on Monday, we will be staying at an Airbnb for around 5 days, and that's where we will just pack our stuff, things like that, and also monitor the progress of our renovation. And then we'll have a meeting with our contractor and ask him for the next steps that he's going to do for our unit, and also the time frame, so that while we're in Japan, we know what's going on with our unit, and by the time we get home, our unit is already finished, the renovation is finished, and all we have to do is just to move in and to really settle in, and to really dig our roots in our home in the city. yeah, so that's it for me today, guys. I'm going to let you go. I'm going to head to the front of the house because it's around sunset and I can already hear my partner and my dogs, like, walking around the beach, and I would really love to join them. Yeah, right, so that's it. I hope that everything is going well with you guys. Like, you are all healthy, you are all well, everything is going smoothly. And if at this time you are going through, like, something that is difficult and hard, please, hold on, stand with your faith, believe in yourself, because everything will always pass. Believe in your talent and believe in the things that you can do, because this is what will always push us through. Okay, all right, so that's it for me today. I'm gonna let you guys go now. Thank you so much for watching, thank you so much for being here, and I hope that you're having a good day wherever you are. Bye. Hi, lover. Popo.